Hi, I'm Sean Behnsen with the Victoria Ska and Reggae Society, and I'm sitting down with Chali 2na, best known for Jurassic 5. He's going to be joining Ozomatli on stage tonight. So first of all, I wanted to ask you about the Unity Committee, what that is and how it got started.
The Unity Committee was United Nations of Intelligence Teaching Youth, was what Unity stood for us. And it was me and Mark Seven and Cut Chemist. We got started in high school. Me and Mark Seven went to high school. He's a year older than I am. 2 years older than I am, I think. But anyway, we went to high school together. And, he was from New Jersey. I was from Chicago. We were just kind of from different cities beside Los Angeles is where we met, And so we were like minds, eventually get so immersed in hip-hop, wanting to freestyle and start groups and this, that, and the third. And it was just fun at first. It wasn't like, no real serious thing. We started recording demo tapes at Cut Chemist's house and started to see how good they were. We liked them. So we started to really get serious. And after getting serious, we started trying to shop our tapes to different record labels and get our little, at those times, like cassette tapes to DJs, and we pressed up a couple of pieces of wax later on after meeting the Rebels of Rhythm at a place called The Good Life. When we met those guys, we made a song called Unified Revolution on some Unity Rebel type thing, you know what I mean? And that song got us known. That song made TVT Records ask us for, to a 12-inch single deal if we wanted to be a part of that. And we were like, hell yeah, it was our first record deal. You know what I'm saying? But they was like, y'all got a name? And we was like, well, hold on, we'll get back to you on that. So I played the song to my son's mom, and she has a little bullshit sense of humor sometimes. So she was like, you guys sound like the Fantastic Five, but you think you sound like the Fantastic Five, but you sound more like the Jurassic Five, and started laughing and walked out the room, and the rest is history.
So coming back to the Good Life Cafe, that was like a hub of hip-hop, a community where MCs would get together and performers. So I know Abstract Rude, Pitch and John were some MCs that came out of there. Any notable MCs that you remember seeing down there? And do you remember your first time visiting the Good Life Cafe and what that experience was like for you?
So let's go to the tops of the food chain at the Good Life. Freestyle Fellowship, period. So all of the MCs that were involved, including Ganja K, rest in peace, were entities unto themselves. They could be like superstars, Micah 9, one of the most amazing freestyle artists I've ever seen in my life. AC Alone as well, Peace as well, Juke as well, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my man Ganja K. And Jay Sumdi. So many people that was involved in the moving parts of that group, but dudes were crazy by themselves. Together it was like Voltron. There was some other shit, you know what I mean, for real. And they were inspirations for a lot of major groups like Bone Thugs and Harmony and all these type of groups, you know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, they were some of the first dudes that were doing like harmony and melodic shit that sounded more like horn instruments and different things of that nature, as opposed to it being like the cold crush call and response type stuff that we was doing, you know what I mean? So big up to them brothers like that, man, you know what I'm saying? People, members of the Far Side used to come to the Good Life all the time. Big up to Chillin' Villain Empire. Big up to Figures of Speech. One of them is now a major director. Her name is Ava DuVernay. She used to be Eve from Figures of Speech, you know what I'm saying? So many different dudes that came up out of that group. The first time we played there was after Mark 7 and a brother named St. Mark. St. Mark was from a group called Dark Leaf. They went to visit the Good Life because they heard about it. So the next Friday we met at Cut Chemist's house, and they were like so geeked about the shit, like, yo, we gotta go down there. That shit was crazy. Blah blah blah. So we were like, all right, that's cool. Let's write a song that would be dope to be like an intro for us to do some shit down there. So us and Darkleaf had a song that we were working on called The Shoes, and it was about how you could tell the type of woman a woman is by the type of shoes she wear, like, some crazy shit like that. But we were youngsters, and it was a cool song, and we wrote that song, we practiced it, and that was our debut performance at the Good Life. And so when we came, people thought we were this really massive crew when it was actually two groups, you know what I'm saying, together. So they called us Unity Committee Darkleaf. That's what they called us. You know what I'm saying?
The no aristocrat, and no diplomat, and no blessed with the gift of rap. It's like that. I'll be the man to be a citizen to know with the game of black. Rhyming in the greenery and rookies like a paper bag. Making jack and the to never been a star. Give me love in the battle with like Pat Benatar. Yeah, Chicago Bulls in Mr. Benetons and this lyric be punched like a in the car. Tall burning kids and then alternative choices to you hostess boys, fellas who boisterous. Boys best, rocking your metropolis. I love that this is a video with some kids. Rappers you that got me pissed. Fame living luxurious. Tuna fish just full of flex furious. Can we just get over this road obstacle? Obstacles and get to a close hospital. Possible. Worms have a lot to do with your man's actions. So stand back right now. Everybody put your fist up one more time. Let me see it.
So let's move on to Ozomatli. You're a founding member of Ozomatli. What brought on that project? I guess it came about just a little after you started with Jurassic 5, if I'm correct. So what came about that project, and what inspired you to be a part of that project on the side of doing Jurassic 5?
Well, Ozomatli came about through Will Dog, the bass player, having a connection with this like social group downtown Los Angeles that was like doing outreach. I forgot exactly what the program was about, but he worked for this program and somehow got into some type of litigation thing with them and lost the fight, but gained control of the building that the place was in. It was something like that. Kicked them dudes out, made a squat, rehearsal studio, skateboard park. It was like all kind of shit. But to keep the lights on, he would call all the musicians that he knew to come play. So it was like shit, 23, 24 musicians would play in this big just ensemble of shit, you know what I'm saying, at first. And then different groups around Los Angeles caught wind and would come down and check the shows out. Then promoters caught wind, would come down and check the shows out. We started landing little gigs around town. Just as this ensemble, and Will Dog wanted to make it a serious thing. So Ozomatli was the name that came up after it was like the Janitors of Anarchy or some crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? But that was the name that came up because of it's tied to the Aztec calendar and
the monkey.
Yeah. And just trying to make people dance because being the god of mischief and fire and dance, you know what I mean? So it's like a party kind of, you know what I mean? So it was a cool little, I thought it was dope. So, but I wouldn't join. I wasn't trying to really come past like, just hearing about it at first. They had learned the song that we had, Unified Revolution. They learned it. So it's like, come down, man, and bust. We'll play it live. I was like, whatever. One day they did a show in Hollywood, and I was around the corner. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go. Showed up. He seen me in the house. They started playing Unified Revolution, but I'm by myself, Fuck it, I get up there. Start busting verses. Came up with a cool little chorus. And what I did was what you hear, the real final version of Cut Chemist Sweet is what came out, you know what I mean? So we were like, yeah, let's record that. You know what I mean? Like afterwards, and the ball started rolling from there. But I've been doing Will Dog since he's like 13 years old, 12, some shit like that. I used to do graffiti with his brother.
Cool. So as a vocalist, musician, somebody that's found success from more than one project and more than one art form, do you have any tips or wisdom to offer those striving for a similar Renaissance kind of approach to the art industry?
It's weird, man. I can't really say that I can, guide a person down a pathway, cause like I had some kind of like formula for it. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff just fell in my lap, man, by the grace and mercy of God, and I'm accepting of it. I'm an artist, so I love the opportunities. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if I get the opportunities and they proper, I'm gonna try to take them, and that's just kind of, I guess, a little Chicago hustle mentality I had too. You know what I mean? Living in California, because there's a lot of opportunity in California. That's a lot of laid back people. Cats is like.
So going back to Chicago, from Chicago 1000 to your infamous Chali 2na murals.
The whole work, man.
Yeah. Your infamous murals. Do you have a favorite piece that stands out that you've painted? I know you've painted all over the world too, like Australia and that. Do you have a favorite piece that comes to mind that you painted?
Since this piece I'm about to tell you about, I've gotten a lot better, right? So it's not my best piece. It's the piece that got me known in Los Angeles. I did this unicorn head, but I didn't use back in the day everybody was doing black outlines and shit. I just, kind of do what I'm doing right now, like, just painted it.
Yeah.
And nobody had done that in LA yet. And so dudes were like tripping. And I painted it in this place called Belmont Tunnels. Me and my man Jack Frost, who is Will Dog's big brother. Painted it in this place called Belmont Tunnels. This place is not there anymore in Los Angeles, but it was infamous for amazing graffiti art. But the lifespan of each piece would be like 2 weeks. But my shit stood for like damn near a year because people were like tripping on it. So nobody knew my face. Everybody knew that piece. And eventually when I started meeting the artists like face to face, you know what I mean? It was like, so who are you, dog? And I say, they'd be like, yo, you the dude who did the unicorn head? It's that kind of shit, you know what I mean? And I appreciated that because I was really trying to be Robin Hood. I didn't know who was who. I knew people's tags and shit, but I didn't know their faces. A lot of them, a handful of them I did. But, so yeah, I think that was my favorite one of all time. So.
Cool. So something that I think a lot of people don't know, and something I didn't know until Jim, our camera guy, mentioned it to me last night, was that you're into photography. And so I did some digging last night, and you don't just take photos, you take really good photos. And you get an opportunity to travel around the world and take some photos of different places that you visit. And one thing that really stood out to me was like, you take beautiful photos of reflections on water and that mirror. I'm a photographer myself, so a huge appreciation for that. And just the colors you grab. What drew you to that side of art, photography? Like,
I used to hate photography on some, I'm gonna learn how to paint to where you're gonna be fooled. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. I was just like nerded out on it, you know what I mean? But to be honest, two things. One, I said to myself, if I get a chance to travel like we started to travel during the Jurassic days, it really came around that time. The very first time we started to go overseas more than just once or twice. I started to bring a camera with me because I was like, my son was really little, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna document all of this stuff so when he wanna ask questions, he can look back and I'll be like, yo, this is what I was talking about. I was there, that kind of thing. Not knowing that it was gonna all get digital and you know what I mean. So that being said, the second thing that really kicked it in for me was our publishing company. Our first one that we dealt with in England gave us a gift basket full of instant cameras. So me and IQ divided them up between each other, and we just did this little contest. Started taking pictures, developed them at the end, and we're like battle between the pictures. The original Instagram, you know what I mean? So when Instagram came about, it was really like just, oh, dope, I can get to show people some of this shit. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so.
But big up to Evidence from Dilated Peoples. Big up to Babu from Dilated Peoples. Big up to I Am Tri-State, that's his code on Instagram, from the Gold Chain military gang with Planet Asia and all those brothers. Because between those three dudes, they showed me Instagram, and they showed me how to edit my pictures on phones and all that shit. So yeah, just edit.
And so speaking of Instagram, if you want to see Charlie's photography, you can go to his Instagram page.
It's at Chali 2na, CHALI_2NA.
So do you have anything special planned for your birthday next week?
This guy's digging it. No, I never was a birthday dude, man. My mama tell you that shit. She used to always trip on Christmas come around. I'm like, nah, I'm straight. Make sure my sister cool. Make sure my brother cool. I never was me celebratory type of thing. I know I'm in the wrong industry for that type shit, right? But I just never was that dude. So it'd be other dudes who'd be like in the group, we performing on my birthday and shit because I ain't tripping, and everybody come with a cake or something like that. My wife do that shit to me. I'm just like, whatever.
All right, man. Okay, one more question. What's next for Chali 2na?
if God give me another day, man, I'm gonna just keep pursuing art, man. That's what I like to do, man. Anything that I can express through, pain, struggle, happiness, and just witnessing things around me, I'm gonna try to do it until I'm, under the dirt. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I got a new album that's being created overseas right now with a brother named Crafty Cuts. The album is called Adventures of a Reluctant Superhero, and it's basically about the Clark Kents and the Bruce Waynes and the Bruce Banners of the world, you know what I mean? Not the superhero itself, and those who aren't necessarily willing totally. They have to, but they ain't willing to be superheroes, you know what I'm saying? So I've always looked at Jurassic 5 as an Avenger type of team. And, you know what I'm saying? The thousands of members of Ozomatli is the same, so it is what it is.
All right, Charlie, thanks very much for the interview. Looking forward to see your set. Sean Behnsen with Chali 2na at Ska Fest. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Now it's time to get back to the shit.
Yeah.